Hello, everyone. Welcome to the beginner level webinar for the SpecSizer educational series. I am Pooja Das Sharma, working as a marketing consultant at Caterpillar Electric Power Division. And I have my colleagues Alex and Krishnan with me today, who will be taking us as well through the different parts of this webinar. But before we begin, I would like to emphasize on safety first. So wherever you are joining us from today, please be safe, be present, win the right way, and be cyber safe. So I'm sure you know that since you're attending the training, but then just I wanted to remind you that SpecSizer is Caterpillar's free generator set sizing software that helps you size small to large diesel, gas, and mobile generators. I would also like to reiterate that we have planned a complete series of SpecSizer educational webinars this month. Today, we will be covering the beginner level, which is for users who have not used SpecSizer before and do not frequently use the tool. Next week, on the 14th, we have the intermediate level, which is for the regular users of SpecSizer who want to become quicker at sizing projects. And on the 21st, we have the final webinar for advanced level, which is for those who want to become more efficient at sizing and discover all the features available in SpecSizer for sizing the optimal genset. And you can also attend all the three webinars as well. So please register yourself for the other levels in case you have not done it so far. Now, moving on to the agenda for today. So today will be really focused on getting you familiar with the tool. We are going to cover the main pages and parts that you need to know when sizing a generator set. And we will also show you how to get set up, add loads, and most importantly, understand what SpecSizer is recommending you and highlight the data available. Now, this will be done in three parts today. Part one will be covered by my colleague Alex, which will focus on how to set user preferences, define site conditions, and add loads. I will be covering the part two, where we will have a look into select generator set and engine room tools. And finally, part three will be covered by Krishnan, which will be focused on the data and report section. And we will also have quick polls at the end of every part to check your understanding and make this a little bit more interactive. So please pay your attention. And we hope that by the end of today's webinar, you will be able to size a project on SpecSizer. Now I request Alex to take you through the part one.
Thank you, Pooja.
Over to you.
I'm gonna share my screen here now.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Pooja. Hello, just one quick thing. Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Alex and I'm the technical sales support here in Caterpillar. I'll be now covering the part one of this webinar that will talk about the user preferences, that is define site conditions tab and the add loads tab. These are the topics that we'll be covering on this part. We go through the steps to set up user preferences, create a three-phase or single-phase project, and set up the defined site conditions and how to add loads. We first go through some overview slides, and after that, I will do a live demo on SpecSizer. The first page you see when logging in with a new user is the term and conditions page. You need to accept that to start using SpecSizer. You can read through them, and at the bottom of the page, you can click on the checkbox to agree, and if you want to receive future marketing communications from Caterpillar. After accepting T's and C's, you'll then be taken to the user preference page. In the user preference page, you'll be asked to complete your user profile by adding your primary role, as well as your address and city of your company. After that, you need to confirm the default values that will be automatically populated into your projects. These values will be set up as default in all of your projects, but you can always update them when creating a new project to meet any particular specification that you might have. After that, you can click on Save and Continue. You will now be taken to your My Projects page. This is where you can view the projects you created or create a new three-phase or single-phase project. by clicking on Create a New Project, you will see the first tab of your project. This is the Define Site Conditions tab. Here, you can, if you want to be quick and jump directly into the loads of your project, all you need to do is add a project name. This is the only mandatory item. All of the parameters are coming from the user preferences that you set up before, but you can always review any of the items you want to change based on any specific data that you have from your project. We go through each of these items here when I'm doing the demonstration. After you add your project name, you can now go to the Add Loads tab. This is the second step of a project. There is a list of standard pre-configured loads that you can add, and we are always working on adding new loads to SpecSizer. On the demo, I'll show you the different ways that you can add your loads and how you can work with the load dialog box. This slide now shows the list of all the standard loads that you can choose from. You can select different types of motors, chillers, air conditioners, lighting, office equipment, and others. If the load you want is not on the list, you can always select the miscellaneous load. This will allow you to manually enter your load parameters. Now I'll be showing you a demo on how each of these steps, how to use each of these steps that we discussed. So after you accepting the terms and conditions, you will be taken to your user preference page. Here, you need to complete your user information. Most information here is coming from your registration. So all you need to add here is your primary role and address and city of your company. On the bottom of the page is where you now can see can set up the default values. Here you can
Alex?
select. Sorry.
Hello, Alex.
Yes.
We are not able to see a SpecSizer demo. We are just able to see a
Oh,
presentation.
sorry. Yes, just a second. Can you see now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. So just going back, the first step that I showed was the user information, where you had to choose your primary role, your address, and the city of the company. Okay, everything else here is coming from your registration. Okay, sorry about that. And then at the bottom here, like I was saying, is you can select your default values. And here you can select the fuel type that you want as default between natural gas or diesel. And you also can select the generator set duty. You can select the default units for your motors, the default motor type, as well as the maximum generator set loading. Okay, the next part, you can also select the default for emissions. You can also select the default of the unit of measure, if it's English or metrics, all of your ambient default for the maximum ambient temperature and altitude and humidity, as well as your parameters for electric supply for the three-phase and single-phase projects. Okay, once this is done, you can click and save and continue. You can always review the default values by clicking on your name on the top bar and selecting My Account. And then this will return you to the user preferences and the default values. On this part of the webinar, we will be focused on the SpecSizer module. The first page you see when entering the SpecSizer module is your My Projects page. This is where you will show a list of all the projects that you have created and saved. To create a new project, all you need to do is choose between create a three-phase project or a single-phase project. The paths for each of these are the same. So for the purpose of this training, we're going to follow a three-phase project path. Okay, this is now the first tab of a project, the define site conditions. Like I mentioned before, if you want to follow a quick path and go directly to the loads tab, all you need to add is your project name. This name must be unique. On this tab, you can also review the parameters and change to accommodate your project's need. This tab is divided mainly in 4 parts. The first part is the general box. Here you can enter some details for your project, like customer's name, your project name, the installation region where your project will be installed, which is an important field because this can change the price list available on SpecSizer, and also the save location where your projects will be saved on My Projects page. The second part is the site conditions box. This will have all the information about your site. You can choose between the metrics or English units of measure, and you can define your max ambient temperature, and this can go up to 60 degrees Celsius, and you can add the altitude of your site for an up to 4,500 meters. And the last item is the humidity. The third part of this tab is the engine box. Here you will define some information about the generator set that you want. First, you need to select the generator set type, and options here are stationary or mobile. Mobile gensets are also known as rental. You can also choose the fuel type between natural gas or diesel. By selecting natural gas, some other items will become available. I will go through now the specific items for natural gas. Below fuel type, you can now select the fuel subtype. You can choose between the default pipeline natural gas value, or a custom gaseous fuel to allow a site-specific fuel. By selecting the second option, the methane calculator is become available, and you can add the parameters of your fuel. After you finish adding the parameters, you can click Calculate and then Submit. Another natural gas specific item is the NOx level. This can be used to filter genset availability. You can choose from all, 2, 1, or 0.5. The next gas specific item is the cooling system type. This will select the cooling system configuration, and options here are radiator with heat injection or a heat exchanger for heat recovery. And the last gas-specific item on the defined site conditions is the business strategy. This function allows users to size based on the lowest operational cost or lowest purchase cost. If we go back now to the diesel fuel type, the remaining items here are common between diesel and natural gas. Emission certification option allows you to filter the results of suggested generator sets based on the emission certification. You can select the emissions you need, or leave it as all certified and non-certified, which will show all the generator sets available. The next item is the expansion capacity. If while sizing your project, you know that it will be expanded in the future, you can consider that and add the percentage of expansion need that you need. And the values here go from 0 to 30%. And SpecSizer will increase the total running kilowatts or kVA for the site based on the percentage selected. The last item on this part is the maximum generator set loading. If you don't want your generator set to ever reach the maximum set loading, you can limit this by selecting the value less than 100%. When you do this, SpecSizer will ensure that the selected generator set loading is less than the maximum generator set loading value. If we change now the generator set to mobile, we have a few differences from the stationary. First, let me just do it again. First, you can see that the product availability is changed on the top bar. For rental, there is less availability for power. And the other difference is that the generator set duty is set to prime only, and this is blocked and you cannot change. The last part of the Define Site Conditions tab is the electrical box. Here you will define the electrical parameters of your projects. The electrical system connection will be locked because this is based on the type of project that you created before. It's either three-phase or single-phase, and you can select the electrical supply and voltage based on your needs. Here, you can also select the max ambient temperature rise that will help filter the results. Once you have completed this, you can now go to the Add Loads tab. Okay, there is two ways. Sorry. Now you can see now on the top bar all the loads, the pre-configured loads that are available. And there are two ways that you can add your loads to the project. The first one is by left-clicking on the loads that you want to add. And then the Add to Step menu will become available. And then all you need to do is select the step that you want the load to be added. The second way to add your loads is to simply drag and drop the load into the step that you want. When adding a load to the step, a dialog box specific to that load will appear. On this box, you can change the quantity of the load, and you can also change some of the specifications, but the only mandatory item is the output rating. Depending on the type of the load you're adding, the output rating can be specified on kilowatts or horsepower or others. Each load has a question mark on the upper right corner of the box, and this will take you to a help article that will show you some more information about the loads that you're adding. After you have added the output rating, there are two ways to saving that load. On the upper right corner, there is a save icon, and in the bottom, there is a save button. I will now add a second load, and this time on the second step. This now concludes this part of the training. Thank you everyone for your attention, and I'll now launch some polls to review some of the topics that we discussed here. Okay, first question. Okay, what are the two options of generator set type in the Define Site Conditions tab? Is it standby and prime, diesel and natural gas, mobile and stationary, all certified and non-certified? Please submit your answers. Yes, the correct answer is the mobile and stationary. Standby and prime are the genset duty, diesel and natural gas are the types of fuel, and all certified and non-certified, these are the emissions. Okay, I see that most of the people got the right answer. Second question. Drag and drop a load is the only way to add a load into a step. Is that true or false? Yes, the correct answer is false, because you can also left click on that load and then select the step that you want to add. Okay, thank you everyone. I will now hand over to Pooja, where she'll be taking you to the second part of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. All right, so now I'll be taking you through the part 2 of this webinar, which is basically the next two tabs that you will find on SpecSizer. That is the Select Generator Set tab and Engine Room Tools. Now, the agenda for this part is that we will have a look at the Select Generator Set page, which is basically the results page where you can see the best fit genset recommended by SpecSizer. We will also have a look at the various filters that are available on this page to refine the results. And secondly, we will cover the engine room tools tab. So after you have defined your site conditions and entered your loads in the first two tabs based on whatever Alex had taken us through before, the select generator set tab is where you can find the list of gensets that match your site and load requirements. SpecSizer also recommends the best fit generator set, and the same is highlighted in blue initially at the bottom half of the screen. We'll go through this in the demo as well. And there are also some additional filters that are available on this page, which can be used to refine your search results. You can filter the results based on the fuel type, open and enclosed options. You can also hide the generator sets that do not fit your requirement from the list view. And you can show and hide additional columns based on the level of technical information that you wish to see in the list view. Some other filters can be accessed by clicking on the left arrow button on this page, so which is marked in this small red box that you see out here. And we will have a look into each of these filters in detail during our demo. And moving on to the engine room tools tab, SpecSizer is not just a sizing tool, but you can also leverage some additional calculators to get an estimate of fuel tank size, radiator duct and room fresh air louver designer, exhaust back pressure, and foundation block calculators. These are made available for ease of estimation of these critical parameters typically used by an electrical contractor. So now let us just move to the live demo for both of these tabs of SpecSizer. Right. So I have already defined some site conditions. I have added my loads. And the next thing that we do is we click on select generator set. And based on whatever site conditions and loads that were defined earlier, you can see that SpecSizer provides the list of generator sets that match your site or load conditions at this bottom half of your screen. And you can also see this particular column which says meets site conditions. And the ones which says genset fails are the gensets that do not meet your site and load requirements. And the ones which are true are the gensets which meet your site and load requirements. And you can also see that the best fit generator set, which SpecSizer is recommending, is highlighted in blue initially in this list. And the summary of technical parameters of the best fit generator set is displayed on the top half of the screen by default. However, if you want to select another generator set, you can simply click on that specific row. And then now you will observe that this technical summary has already got updated to the newly selected generator set. And please also note that when you had selected the new other generator set, the best fit generator set is now highlighted in green and the newly selected generator set gets highlighted in blue. Now, if you want to see some additional technical parameters in this list view for your generator sets, you can do it by clicking on Show Hide Columns button, then just hovering your mouse around these columns, and then just clicking whichever is you need to view or something. If you don't need to view, you can deselect that option as well. Let's say I want to see the alternator efficiency, and let's say I do not want to see the temperature rise. So automatically the view gets updated by itself. You can also change the order of these columns. So in case you want to see winding just beside alternator frame, or you want to see voltage dip first, so you can just play around, drag and drop as you feel like, and then keep changing your view. And once you are done with and finalized your selections for the technical parameters, you can simply click on Save Configuration column, and this is going to save your view. And in case you want to revert back to the default view, you can simply click on Reset Grid Configuration button, and this is going to revert back to the default view from where we had started earlier. Now you can also refine your results even further by using some filters that are available. So by clicking on this particular filter icon, you can see that there are some quick filters that are available. So say, for example, you want to refine your results based on only UL listed products, just select this, click on UL listed, click on apply filters, and then the results are getting refreshed just to show you the specific UL listed generator sets. And there we have the answer. There are some other filters as well. So these are the quick filters, but then if you want to see some more other filters and refine your results even further, you can filter your generator set results with maximum generator set loading, emission certification, again, UL listed. You can also filter based on the winding type, which is the random wound or form wound. You can filter based on excitation and maximum temperature rise or ambient temperature. So just select what you want and click apply, and the results will get refreshed automatically. And that can be done by clicking on this arrow button on the left-hand side. Now, by default, SpecSizer shows the results for open gensets, but in case you wish to see enclosed gensets that match your requirements, you can just click on enclosure, and this is going to refine the results further so that you see only the enclosed gensets. If you do not want to see the gensets that do not meet your requirement, just click on hide gensets that do not fit, and this is going to only show you the generator sets that meet your requirement. So this way you can refine your view and then ensure that you get to see whatever you wish to see. So now this completes our demo for the select your generator tab for the beginner level. There are some other functionality also available on this page. However, they are beyond the scope of beginner level, and we will cover them up in the upcoming webinar sessions. So now moving on to the engine room tools tab. So let's say I have selected this generator set D125GC, although SpecSizer recommended me this one, but let's say I've selected this one. And now I want to leverage some engine room tools. I simply click on that particular tab, and you will see that a technical summary of the selected generator set appears on the top of this tab. And there are totally 4 calculators available for most of the models. However, some of the models may not have all 4 calculators available or applicable. So depending on the model that you have selected, the appropriate calculators can be used from this tab. So let's go into each of these calculators in detail. So the first one is the fuel tank size calculator. So you can just click on this tab to access the calculator. So here you will need to enter the running hours for your genset and the oversize factor. And SpecSizer will calculate and give you an estimate of the minimum fuel tank size that is needed for your genset package. So let's say the running hours that I need here is 24 hours. And you can see that for this particular genset package, the minimum fuel tank size that is needed is 200 gallons. We also have the ability to print. So you can just click on this icon over here in case you want to print your results. And this is going to, you can print it in PDF, or you can print it as per your requirements. So I'm not printing it right now. And then in order to go back to the home screen, you can either click on back to calculators button over here or click on done. Either of them will work. So right now I'm clicking on back to calculators. And this completes the fuel tank size calculator. The second calculator is the radiator duct and room fresh air louver designer. Now this calculator gives you an estimate of the room temperature rise based on some standard defaults that is already pre-populated based on the genset package that you have selected. And it also gives you a kind of estimate for your intake and exhaust louvers for your generator set in order to maintain proper airflow through your genset package. So in this case, you can see that the temperature rise for this particular D125GC genset that I had selected is 10.08 degree Fahrenheit. Now the third calculator is the exhaust back pressure. So here you will need to enter some basic data about exhaust piping. For example, after my engine, let's say I need 10 feet of straight pipe, and let's say I need one 90-degree long elbow and one 90-degree short elbow. And then I can see that the the engine room tool SpecSizer has calculated an estimate of the pressure drop in exhaust based on the parameters that I have entered. And it's also showing the maximum allowable pressure drop, which is in this case for this particular genset, which is 2.18 psi. But then based on the parameters that I had entered, the pressure drop in exhaust is 0.55 psi, which means I'm good to go. So this way you can estimate your exhaust piping details as well. And the last calculator is the foundation block calculator. Now, in this calculator, the weights and dimensions of the generator set are already predefined, and you can get an estimate of how much concrete is needed to provide an adequate foundation block for your generator set package. So, if the density of concrete is 150, then in that case, the foundation block dimensions are already provided here. And SpecSizer also tells you that the input must be an integer between 124 to 188 because that's the minimum and maximum limits for the foundation block dimensions. So as long as you're entering a number within these limits, you'll be able to see the foundation block dimensions that the tool is providing. So this completes our beginner level demo for engine room tools tab as well. Now it's time for some quick polls. So here I've launched the first question. And the question is, what is not possible on the select generator set tab of SpecSizer? Is it viewing the best fit generator set model for my requirements? Is it download a sizing report? Is it view a technical summary of the selected generator set? Or is it view only enclosed generator sets that fit my requirement? Okay, the answers are close by. I'm getting answers within two options. All right, the correct answer is download a sizing report because you are able to view the best fit generator set model for your requirements, which is highlighted in blue. You're able to see a technical summary of your selected generator set on the top half of the screen, and you can filter your results to view only enclosed generator sets that fit your requirement by clicking on hide generator sets that do not fit and clicking on the enclosure button. So the answer is download a sizing report, which is not possible in this particular page. Moving on to the next question. So here is the question. Fuel tank size cannot be estimated through the engine room tools calculator. Is it a true or false? I hope everyone gets this correctly. Yeah, majority of the audience has got this correctly. So it's false because we did see that fuel tank size can be estimated. We have a fuel tank size calculator on the engine room tools tab. So you will be able to estimate the fuel tank that you need by entering the running hours and the loading capacity. So that concludes the part 2 of this webinar. Now I will hand over to Krishnan to take up the last part of this webinar.
Thank you, Pooja and Alex. Good morning and good afternoon, or possibly some of you are in the evening time of the day. So good evening to you. My name is Krishnan Pandya-Raj. I am the product owner of SpecSizer, and I will be walking you through the last part of this beginner level spec series, SpecSizer educational series webinar, looking at the data and reports part of SpecSizer. We all know that when we do any type of calculations, we would like to give some data and reports to the client and the customer because that play a key role in affirming our selection with the client. So we do consider what is the importance of the data and what are the reports will be useful for the client and the customers. So we have spent quite a bit of effort in giving you all the data you need in SpecSizer itself so that you do not need to go into a different site in order to get the data. So I will be showing you in the demo quickly what are all the data you can see and download, and on top of that, reports you can view and download as well. I will also be touching on how to get help. Obviously, when you are using a new tool, especially in the beginner level, you may have some questions on how this tool works. What is this parameter? What is this field? What should I do? So we have taken extraordinary effort in giving you all the contents and the help information readily available in SpecSizer itself, so that you do not need to contact us for even a simple things like what is the difference between the prime and the standby duty. So I'm going to show you on that as well. Finally, I'll be closing this presentation with how can you find the nearest dealer to your location so that you can make communication with the dealer and find out about more information about the product, like a lead time, delivery, price, whatever it is. You would like to talk to someone, your dealer is the best person to talk to. So I'll be showing you how to find the dealer nearest to you. When it comes to data and reports, obviously, in a tool, you can only be limited to some amount of information you can view and also download. So what are the reports you can download? Primarily, you are able to download a project sizing report. Obviously, you are doing a project on your and selecting a three-phase or a single-phase genset. So you would like to create a sizing report that should have project details. Who is your customer? What is the project name? Who created it? What is the site conditions? Ambient temperature, altitude. All these informations are essential for you and for the customer, so they need to see that. So those information will be available in the project sizing report as the top section of it, followed by the load summary. It summarizes what is your running demand, what is the connected load, what is the worst case scenario, or what is the peak demand your genset needs to support. And also you may have to see what are the nonlinear loads which are drawing harmonic currents from the generator set, and what is the impact on the genset you may want to see. So that load summary is also available in the sizing report. Then we need to show the client or the customer what is the generator set selected. Okay, is it how many numbers, one number or two number or multiple numbers, and what are the engine used on the package? Some top level information like what is the engine, is it a 9.1 9.3 liter or a 13 liter or 15 liter engine? Similarly, what alternator it is. Is it a shunt excited machine or a PMG it has on it? So those information has to be available on the report, and we are doing that. Then that report will end with load details. What are all the loads you have considered in this project? What is your required or needed performance, like in terms of frequency dip and voltage dip, and that is also available. On top of that, obviously, the customer wants to know what is the predicted performance in terms of frequency dip and voltage dip from the selected gensets, from the selected generator set, and that information is also available on the report. Finally, it will have the engine room tool calculations. Pooja has walked you through in part 2. That calculations is also added to the report. So it will be a comprehensive report giving you all the information about the project, your loads, the generator set selected, and the engine room calculations. When you are moving on to download drawings, obviously some customers, especially like a consultant type, they would like to see the drawings of the engine so that they can actually plan their further components. So we have provided GA drawings of the engine and the control panel. You can download it. On top of that, and the spec sheets, you can actually download the spec sheets of the controller, alternator, automatic voltage regulator, circuit breaker, enclosure, etc. On the same section, you can actually download some technical data. So this is an engine performance data. This will be a expanded or detailed information compared to what you have seen on the engine information in the project sizing report. Say, for example, customer will be interested in the fuel consumption of the engine, heat rejection, ambient altitude D rate, and the emissions information of the engine. That is also available in that technical data under engine performance. So we also provide alternative technical data. So engine performance and alternative technical data primarily available for dealers through a dedicated website. But as a normal user, if you want to see the alternative technical data like reactance, motor starting capability, or PQ diagrams, reactive capability diagrams, you can actually download from clicking the button download drawings and spec sheets. We do have a feature or function called creating a guide spec document, which can be used for submitting a bid, but that will be covered in detail in the intermediate level. How to get help? Obviously, when you are using anything new, you may have some questions. You would like to clarify that. Rather than picking up the phone or sending an email to Caterpillar, you can actually find some help information. For that, we have done an extraordinary work on providing all the help content readily available in SpecSizer itself. So these are all some of the icons we have used. On the left-hand side, you can see a question symbol in a circle, and then there is a help menu with help with this page. We also have buttons for video tutorial, and on then you can move on to a share symbol, share icon, where you can actually share the sizing report with your colleagues to get a second opinion. And then at the last resort, if you want to contact us as a Caterpillar, you can go and click contact support, either through the menu called help, and then you click contact support, or you click the question symbol with the rectangular box instead of the circle one. So as you mentioned, the question symbol with the circle, it will help you to find out SpecSizer parameters like generator set type, what is stationary and mobile, what is the difference, or genset duty, prime and standby. So those can be accessible by clicking that question symbol just beside that field. So that way you have the help information readily available for you. Last year, we also introduced on the on the contacting the support team, we introduced a dedicated case management system. So the advantage of the case management system is it will immediately give you the ticket number or the case number, and it will send you an email confirmation affirming that we have received your case and someone will be looking at it, and then you will get the response in a speedy manner. So the case management system allows us to classify the cases. Sometimes it could be a admin issue, sometimes it could be a sizing issue, sometimes it could be something broken on our tool, and you are reporting that, and we are very grateful for that. So for that, we would like to classify the cases with a case management system. We are able to do that. The main advantage as a customer yourself is we can give you a periodic update. So whenever someone is in the support team is looking at the case, and when we respond or when we put a note, then you will get a periodic update saying that so and so has looked at your query and this is the feedback we are getting it. So that will give you an assurance that somebody is looking at your case and you are going to get the response. Finally, the part of the case management system is we can actually send you a follow-up survey, so you can provide some honest feedback, helping us to improve our service to you. Then finally, it will be, as I mentioned, you may like to speak to the dealer. So for that, we have provided a link called Find a Dealer that will open up a dealer locator application, and that will help you to search by your location, or you can put the nearest dealer name you can put in, and then you can search the dealer type, either by the dealer type or by the equipment type, because you know that the Caterpillar dealers deal with not only generator sets, we also do machines and mining, etc. So you can specify the equipment type, and then you will get all the contact details of the dealer. So with that, I would like to take you through the actual tool and show you the data and report section, and then how to download drawings and spec sheets, and briefly touch on the case management system. I'm sure you can see my screen. So I have actually opened up different tabs so that we will not be wasting time in SpecSizer pulling all the data. So as you see, the SpecSizer, you can see starting with the defined site conditions and add loads. Alex has taken you through, and then select generator set and engine room tools, Pooja has done. And then the last tab on SpecSizer is the data and reports, where you can actually see the three buttons here: download PDF reports, or download drawings and spec sheets, and create guide spec. So I want to spend some time with you on explaining what are all the details and the data we provide in the report. As I mentioned earlier on, so the top section will have the project information. So who created it, what is the date, etc. And then on the right-hand side, your electrical parameters and the site conditions. So moving on to the next section will be the load summary. So you can actually see for this project, what is happening is there is a transient load step of approximately 672 kilowatt of load is applied in a single step. So that's your transient load step, and that will result in frequency and voltage deviations, and you may need to meet some requirements. In addition to that, the genset will experience about 807 kilowatt of power as a peak demand. That could be for a short period of time, maybe due to starting a motor three-phase motor in a direct online, and that will result in a short inrush current for a period of up to 10 seconds or so, and that is your peak demand. So finally, when everything is settled, all the transients have settled, what is your final load? So your final load on this project is 829 kVA and 779 kilowatt at an approximate power factor of 0.94. The project I have considered also has a nonlinear load of about nearly 315 kVA of nonlinear load with the project THTA of 29%. This project THTI helps to estimate the voltage distortion from the selected generator set, which you can actually see at the bottom here, that based on the THT of 29%, it will work out the distortion on the voltage based on the selected alternator. So we are also doing the voltage distortion calculation for the nonlinear load in the project. So when it comes to generator set, this is a top level information of the generator set. It basically tells you how many numbers you need, what engine you need, what is the package model, what is the regulator, voltage regulator used, and then so feature code. If you are trying to speak to your dealer and find the price, then you may need the feature code. So that the dealer can quickly find out the price. So what is the fuel used, and as I explained earlier on, the distortion. On the right hand side, you can see the nameplate rating and the site rating. As you can see that from the nameplate rating of 1100 kilowatt, it is dropping about a kilowatt, and that could be because of engine or alternator or the cooling system. And you will also see what is the duty, is it an open or enclosed set, and then is it a stationary or mobile. All of this information is readily available there. And then under engine, it gives you some information like what engine is it a turbocharged or naturally aspirated engine, and then the performance number for that engine, emission certifications, what governor it is using, etc. That is also available. If you are interested in the electrical parameters, you may like to know whether it is a 2/3 pitch or a 5/6 pitch, what type of alternator is it? Is it a firm wound or a random wound, permanent magnet or shunt excited? All of this information is available there. As I mentioned in my presentation, you can also download a detailed alternator performance data from download drawings and spec sheets. So then sometimes customer also interested in whether this genset accept a load step of 50% within ISO 8528 class G2 limits, which is 10%. So we have provided the factory block load transient response data table here. You can clearly see that up to 75% of the load step, it can accept within class G2 limits, because the maximum FTIP for class 2 is 10%. So that is another useful information for you. And we also provide a graphical information of what will happen to the genset when you suddenly apply 100% load on that. So you can see that the frequency and voltage drops, and then it recovers within about 5 seconds for the selected genset. So that's the project sizing report. Moving on to the load report, that summarizes pretty much whatever the loads you have considered. So in part one, Alex has taken through how you can add the loads. So here it shows that there's a 255 kilowatt three-phase motor load. It is starting across the line, is started in step 1.1, and you are looking for a maximum F tip of 30% and voltage tip of 20%. You also have a couple of other loads in the same step, a fire pump load and a resistive load. And you can see that when you have a fire pump load, we are limiting the frequency tip to 15%. 15%. So based on these three loads in the step one, so we work out what is the effective frequency dip and voltage dip. So the effective frequency dip is 30%. So 30% is the minimum of these three. And then the minimum of V dip is 20, 30, and 15, which is a 15%. So these are all some of the parameters influence your genset selection. And then the product 3512, one number of 3512 will result in a 5% frequency dip for step one, which consists of these three loads. Sorry, it takes you back. Yeah, that's how I was going to demo that. When you click that load, it will take you back to the add loads, and then you can actually change if you want to. But coming to the report section, it shows what is the estimated frequency dip and voltage dip for step one and step two. And then it will also summarizes the step demand and the peak and the running demand of the project. As I mentioned earlier on, if you have done any engine room calculations, and that results is also populated here and added as a part of the report here, and you can actually download the PDF report. To save time, I actually save time. I already downloaded the report here, so which you can see, and I have showed you as well. So moving on to download drawings and spec sheets. So if you click the download drawings and spec sheets, it will pop up with a window where you will actually see what are all the drawings available. So for this 3512, you can see a number of drawings there. You can even see a BIM model there, a 3D model there. If you want, you can download that. You select whatever you want to download. And then for drawings, for spec sheets, as I mentioned, we have provided a number of spec sheets there. Normally for the dealers, they are available in our Caterpillar dedicated site, but we wanted the user to ability to download the spec sheets directly from SpecSizer. So we have provided all the spec sheets relevant for this product 3512 and listed here. So you can select whatever you want to from the long list. For example, in this case, I have selected a couple of things just to save time. And then, as I mentioned, you can also click technical data or performance data of generator and alternator, and you can click download. Again, to save time, what I did is I have downloaded these reports earlier on so that I can quickly walk you through. Sorry, I'm not opening up the actual report. Yeah, so that's the product information. So you can actually see this is the drawing I have downloaded earlier on. So that's the GA drawing of the panel. Then you can go into the controller used on the package, EMCP 4.3, and then you can move on to various features available there. Then you followed by what are all the optional modules you can add. So it gives you all the information you need. You don't even need to contact your dealer or contact the factory. So if you have all the information available, it helps you to make a decision quickly. So you can also say the spec sheet for the product. It will give you the ratings and then what are all the attachments, optionals, some performance data here, over top level performance data here, and then dimensions and the weights of the package. So that's all readily available there in that report. So then moving on to the help section, as I mentioned earlier on that we have created a different types of icons. As you mentioned, there's one of the basic one is a question symbol with the circle, where if you click just beside, and that will open up the help content there. It will take you through that specific parameter called a generator set duty, where you can go and read about what is a standby power rating, what is a mission critical, because these are some of the terms maybe Caterpillar is using it, but we are using ISO standard ratings, but you would like to know the difference between them. So you can use those icons to find out more information about that specific parameter or field. So you can also click, there are other things like you can click help with this page that will take you through a small help content about what is this page is about. This is a defined site conditions page. So what are all the mandatory fields? As Alex explained, project name is the only one mandatory field you need to specify. So all those information are available under help with this page. So I want to focus on how you can share the sizing file. Sometimes what happens is you do the sizing and you may like to get a second opinion from your colleague if you're in a dealership, or you may want to check with your colleague. So click that, and that will help you to add an email, and then you click share. So for example, I can click here, so that email will be added, and then you click share, and that will send an email instantly to the person you have shared, and then that person can actually go in and then go to the shared with me folder where that person can actually see the file you have shared. So that way your colleague or your friend, or even with Caterpillar you can share, they can instantly access. But we have gone one step further. If you have a query on your project, anything, it could be you are not sure whether you have sized the right genset, or you are not sure you have correctly modeled the load in SpecSizer, then you can actually contact us through help, contact support. When you click contact support, what it does is it creates a form, a web form. It captures your details and the genset application from your project, three-phase, 60 hertz, 480 volts, and what is the product it is sized currently, and what is the sizing ID. So this is a critical information for the support team, because otherwise we may have to recreate the project, so that will be waste of time. So when you size and save, a sizing ID is created in SpecSizer, and that will be captured here, and you can share that with us. We will be able to look at that project instantly. But we would like more information about your query. So we have given you some options. Is your query is related to sizing, or is it related to data or reports? Or is it something to do with the registration? Or is it an access issue? Or indeed you are helping us with enhancement idea. You find out that you would like to have some feature in SpecSizer. We are welcoming that. So you can actually select that. So some of the mandatory fields. And then if it is a sizing, is it related to site conditions? Or is it about your loads, or is it about your size genset? You can select that. So then why you are contacting us? Is it regarding a placed or planning to order a genset, or is it generally with a sizing analysis? You can do that. Then you can also add a comment. You can add a comment up to a maximum of 3,000 words in the comment, explaining what do you need. You may want to share some attachments with us. So we do support uploading some documents up to a total size of 30 megabyte. Your file type could be a JPEG or image or a document or Excel spreadsheet, or indeed a PowerPoint or PDF. You can see a different file type. We support that. You can click upload documents, and you can add the documents to us. And then once you submit, so you can actually say instantly it will create a ticket number or a case number. It's a busy time of the day. Yeah, it worked. So it gives you that an inquiry has been successfully submitted, and it says 239737924, which will instantly send an email to us. So for demo purpose, what I have done is I have just captured an email information, and that's the information comes to you immediately once the ticket number is created, telling you that there is a case is created, and someone will be with you shortly. And if you need to contact us, what is the email ID? catdigitalsupport@cat.com. So those are some of the ways we respond to you as and when possible, rather than you keep wondering whether somebody is looking at the case or not. So that way you will be assured that your case is being looked at, and you will get a proper response at the earliest opportunity. So finally, we will move on to the dealership. How do you find a dealer? So as you can see on the top menu, so there is a link for find a dealer. So if you click find a dealer, and that will take you through a dealer locator application, as I explained. All you need to do is just either you can search by the location, or you can put the dealer name if you know. You might have heard the name. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some random name, just Texas. That's where our headquarters is. So I'm just putting a Texas, and then I click next, and that will take you to the next page. If you remember from my presentation, Caterpillar is making lots of different equipments, machines, generator sets, and we also serve oil and gas industry, marine, and highway truck engines. So you have to filter your selection by the appropriate equipment type. So for us, we are interested in generator sets, so we select electric power, and I'm applying the filters, and that will come up with the dealers in the Texas area who are all dealing with power generation or electric power. So you can see there are about nearly 8 or 9 dealerships available. So you can select whichever the dealer you want to contact. And when you select the dealer, that the dealer information will be coming with the phone number and the email and their dedicated website. So that way you will be able to quickly contact your dealer, and you can actually tell them that you have sized it, you have some information, you wanted to get some information about the product. It could be a price, it could be lead time, or they may have the product in inventory. So these are some of the ways to help you contacting the dealers through SpecSizer. Um, that's all pretty much about for the beginner level. So before I hand over to Pooja, it would be nice to have a quick poll to see what are all the informations you were able to get from this last part of this webinar. Let me start the poll. Okay, the first poll is a project sizing report downloaded from SpecSizer contains the following information: load analysis summary, site output rating, project THDI and THDV percentage, or it could be all of the above. Please give your selection. I see the answers coming in. Fantastic. 99% of the people have selected all of the above. Thank you very much. So let us move on to the next poll. I hope you can see the second poll, which is on SpecSizer report. SpecSizer report does not have the block load transient response data from the factory test. True or false? Please select your answer. Again, very good result. It is false. So that means SpecSizer report does have the black load transient response data from the factory test. If you remember, I have showed a table which shows 0 to 25% load step and their recorded frequency dip and voltage dip. Similarly, 0 to 50% and 0 to 75%, and finally 0 to 100%. So well done. I would like to thank you for your patience. It's been a great day. You've been a great audience. And now I hand you back to Pooja for the final words. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Krishnan. So this concludes our beginner level for the SpecSizer education series, and we hope that you found this session helpful. And once again, I reiterate, please register for the intermediate and advanced series in case you have not done so far. And we would also like to hear your feedback on this particular training session that we have today. So please email us your feedback on this email address that is being shown on the screen, specsizersupport@cat.com, so that we can make the series even better. And thank you all for joining today, and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.